The galaxy was filled with planets that were dangerous in many different ways. Some worlds had storms that could tear buildings apart, others had huge animals that could eat almost anything. There were planets with poisonous air, boiling water, or darkness so deep that light seemed to run away. These places were called Deathworlds. Only the strongest, smartest, or luckiest survived there. On one of these wild planets, a special meeting was about to start. It was the first ever Deathworld Summit. Aliens from all over the galaxy were coming to share ideas, talk about their worlds, and maybe make peace. The chosen planet was called Zaros. It was famous for its forests full of sharp-toothed beasts, rivers that could melt metal, and weather that changed in the blink of an eye. No one liked being there, for everyone agreed it was the only place dangerous enough for this meeting. The summit was very important. For years, different alien groups had fought and argued about which planet was the hardest to live on, some thought. Their own world was the worst, but others disagreed. Now they would all see for themselves. The event was also a chance to learn from each other. Maybe if they worked together, survival would get easier for everyone. Every species sent their bravest leaders and best experts. The Vorkari sent Commander Ruvik, a tall, spiky alien who wore heavy armor. The Luriks sent Lyra, a small but fierce diplomat who could see in the dark. There were many others. The Tani with their shells, the Volari with their wings, and the hard-skinned Brask. Each group arrived in their own special ships, filled with tools and supplies to help them survive. When the humans arrived, many aliens watched with curiosity. Some even laughed quietly. The human team was small, just a few men and women in simple gray uniforms. Their ship was not very big or impressive. Leading the group was Jack Carter, a man with calm eyes and a steady voice. He was known as a diplomat, not a soldier. With him was Megan Price, a biologist who loved studying dangerous animals and plants. The rest of the team were helpers and translators. Aliens expected the humans to look scared or nervous, they remembered. Hearing about Earth, a blue planet with forests, mountains, and oceans, some called it a death world, but many thought that was just a story. Compared to the poison fogs of Lurik or the burning deserts of Brask, Earth sounded almost peaceful. That made the humans' presence even more interesting. The landing field on Zaros was rough. Sharp rocks and tough grass covered the ground. Dark clouds moved quickly above, and every now and then, a strange howl echoed from the forest nearby. As soon as the humans stepped out, the wind nearly knocked them over. But Jack and his team just adjusted their coats and kept walking. Megan bent down to pick up a strange purple flower, smiling to herself as she studied its petals. The aliens gathered in a wide clearing. There were tables made of metal and strong plastic, and a big screen for everyone to see the schedule. Armed guards from each species watched the edge of the forest carefully. The meeting would last for 1 week. Everyone would have a turn to talk about their world and what made it dangerous. There would be group discussions, meals together, and a test. Each team had to spend 1 full night outside the camp with only the supplies they brought. Jack listened quietly as the alien leaders introduced themselves. Some spoke in loud voices, telling stories about survival on their home planets. Others bragged about battles with wild creatures or surviving deadly storms. The human's turn came last. Jack stood and spoke in a soft voice. He explained that Earth was not just a planet of beauty, but also one of danger. He talked about volcanoes, earthquakes, deep oceans, and creatures that could hunt in silence. He spoke about humans living through ice ages, fighting off disease and building cities where wild things once ruled. He ended by saying humans did not claim to be the strongest or the smartest. Instead, they learned how to adapt. That, he believed, was the real secret to survival. Many aliens whispered to each other. Some nodded, others looked doubtful. The Vorkari commander laughed quietly. The Brask leader rolled his eyes. To them, human words sounded polite but weak. They thought that humans would not last long on Zaros. Some even started to place bets on which team would leave first. That evening, everyone ate together at the camp. The food was different for each group. The Vorkari chewed tough roots, the Volari picked at tiny insects, and the humans shared simple, dried fruit and nuts. Megan tried a piece of Lurok bread and smiled. but quickly reached for water. The aliens saw this and laughed, thinking the humans were out of their depth. But Jack watched everything closely. He noticed which groups stuck together, who looked worried, and which aliens kept checking their equipment. He saw that most teams relied heavily on their technology, their armor, their shields, their scanners. Without these things, many would be lost. That night, as the first cold wind swept through the camp, Megan walked quietly by the edge of the forest. She took notes about the plants and small animals she saw. 2 tanny guards watched her, curious. Megan explained that understanding the land was the first step to safety. She told them stories of Earth's jungles and how her team once survived by learning what was safe to eat. The guards nodded, interested. Jack sat by the fire with the Brask leader. The alien kept bragging about his people's strength, but Jack just listened and asked polite questions. Slowly, the Brask relaxed and started to tell a story about his childhood. He admitted that sometimes even the strongest needed to hide from danger. Jack smiled and said that was true everywhere, even on Earth. Before sleeping, the human team checked their simple gear. No fancy shields or weapons, just ropes, basic tools, and small sensors. Jack reminded them that they had survived worse on Earth. Megan smiled and said she was excited to see what Zaros could teach them. The others agreed, feeling a little nervous but mostly calm. They trusted each other and knew that whatever happened, they would face it together. As the stars appeared in the night sky, the camp slowly grew quiet. Far away, a deep roar shook the trees, and lights flashed in the clouds. Some aliens couldn't sleep, worried about what dangers might come with the dawn. But in the human tent, Jack, Megan, and their team talked quietly, making plans and sharing small jokes. They knew tomorrow would be tough. They also knew they were ready. The Deathworld summit had only just begun. Most aliens thought the humans would be the first to fail. But Jack and Megan were prepared to prove them all wrong, not by showing off, but by doing what humans had always done. Watch, learn, adapt, and survive. The first night on Zaros was cold and full of strange sounds. Some aliens stayed awake, holding their weapons close. Others tried to sleep, but kept opening their eyes at every new noise. Only the human tent was quiet. Jack and Megan took turns watching outside, but nobody seemed truly afraid. They knew this was only the beginning. When the sun rose, heavy clouds covered the sky. The camp started to come alive with movement. Alien teams checked their gear and tested their shields. Some looked at the humans with worried eyes, wondering if they would last another day. Jack smiled politely at anyone who stared too long. Megan was already awake, studying small bugs near her tent. Just after breakfast, something changed. A loud alarm started to ring across the camp. Everyone looked toward the edge of the forest, where a group of huge animals was moving quickly toward them. Creatures had long, sharp horns and thick, scaled bodies. Their eyes glowed yellow in the dim light. Some aliens began to panic. The Vorkar guards fired warning shots, but the animals did not stop. They seemed angry and hungry. The camp fell into chaos. Some aliens used their technology, building strong shields or shooting lasers. The Tawny group hid behind a force field. The Brask tried to fight with their strong arms, but the animals pushed back. The Volari jumped and flew above the ground, hoping to avoid trouble. In the middle of it all, the humans stayed calm. Jack quickly called his team together. Jack told the humans to spread out and look for things they could use. And 2 helpers found long branches and used rope to make barriers. Other humans worked together to stack rocks and build a wall. Megan saw some plants with bright red leaves and remembered from her notes that they were poisonous to the local animals. She pulled the plants and placed them along the new barrier. The humans worked fast but did not rush. They talked quietly, sharing ideas and helping each other. Aliens nearby saw the humans working and were surprised. Most had expected them to run away or hide. Instead, the humans were building and planning. Some Tanny left their force field and asked to help. Megan gave them some rope and showed them how to tie strong knots. The Valeri came down from the trees and joined Jack in piling up rocks. Soon, the animals reached the camp. Some smashed into the barriers, but the red plants made them back away. Others tried to climb over, but Jack and a Valari diplomat used sticks to push them back. Megan shouted instructions to everyone, telling them not to panic. More and more aliens joined the humans, working side by side. The attack lasted almost an hour. Finally, the big animals grew tired and wandered back into the forest. The camp was a mess, but most people were safe. Some aliens had small injuries, but nothing serious. The humans checked on everyone, helping those who were scared or hurt. After the danger passed, many aliens looked at Jack and Megan with new respect. They realized the humans did not need special weapons or high-tech armor. They just used what was around them and trusted each other. Some Vorkari came over and thanked the humans for saving their group. The Tani gave Megan a small gift, a shiny shell from their home world. As the day went on, the story of the humans' actions spread through the camp. Aliens whispered about how quickly they had reacted. Some said the humans must be lucky. Others argued that they were just well-trained. No matter what people thought, it was clear that the humans had made a difference. During lunch, Megan sat with a group of young aliens. She showed them how to tie different knots and told stories about life on Earth. The aliens listened carefully, asking many questions. Megan explained that on her planet, people had to face dangers every day. Learn to use their minds and their hands, not just machines. The aliens seemed surprised by this idea. Later that afternoon, a new problem appeared. The river near the camp began to rise. Rain clouds gathered in the sky and thunder rolled in the distance. Most aliens worried about flooding. Jack called a quick meeting. He suggested building small ditches to guide the water away from the tents. Some aliens did not know how to dig without machines, so the humans showed them how to use sticks and stones as tools. Soon the camp was busy again, everyone working together. The rain came down hard. Water rushed past the camp, but the ditches helped keep the tents dry. Megan checked on the plant barriers, making sure the red leaves were still in place. Jack walked through the camp, encouraging everyone and making sure no one was left alone. Even the Vorkari commander, who had laughed at the humans before, now thanked Jack for his ideas. When the rain stopped, the camp looked different. People were tired, but they were also proud. They had worked together, shared ideas, and learned new skills. For the first time, some aliens started to talk and laugh with humans instead of just watching them. Jack sat by the fire and listened to stories from other worlds. Megan shared tea with a Tani diplomat who showed her a map of his home planet. That evening, the leaders met again to talk about what had happened. Some wanted to give the humans a special honor, but Jack said it was not needed. He explained that on Earth, people survive by helping each other. He said it was not about being brave or strong, but about working together and never giving up. As night fell, the camp was quiet. Stars were hidden by clouds, but inside the tents, people felt safer than before. The humans talked quietly, remembering the dangers they had faced that day. Megan wrote in her notebook, making new notes about the animals and plants of Zaros. Jack smiled, knowing his team had done well. The next day would bring new tests. Zaros was not finished with them yet, but the humans were ready. They had already shown that they belonged at the Deathworld summit. Now the other aliens were starting to believe it too. Night came early on Zaros. The sky was full of dark clouds, and the camp was quiet after the long, busy day. Most aliens sat around small fires, talking in low voices. They were tired from the animal attack and the heavy rain, but they felt a little more hopeful. Many thought about the humans and how they had helped everyone work together. Jack walked through the camp, checking on his team. He saw Megan writing in her notebook, drawing pictures of the red leaf plants that had helped stop the animals. The others cleaned their simple tools or fixed the rope barriers. Jack knew that tomorrow could bring new problems, but he was proud of what they had done so far. After dinner, a cold wind started to blow. The fires flickered, and the tents shook. Megan looked at the sky and saw flashes of lightning. Jack that a storm was coming, maybe worse than before. Jack nodded and called the team together. He told everyone to check their tents and pack away anything that could be lost in the wind. Aliens watched the humans, wondering what they would do next. Some had never seen such a big storm. Others said the weather on Zaros could change in seconds. The Brask leader warned everyone that the last time this happened, huge trees fell and the river almost flooded the whole camp. Soon, the storm hit. The wind howled and rain poured down. The camp shields, made by different alien teams, started to fail. Some tents collapsed. Alien leaders shouted orders, but the wind was so loud it was hard to hear. In the chaos, some aliens were trapped under broken tents or stuck in deep mud. Jack saw that the camp was falling apart. He ran to Megan and shouted that they needed to help. Megan agreed and grabbed her small bag of supplies. Together, they called the other humans. Even in the storm, the team moved quickly and stayed calm. They tied ropes to each other so no one would get lost in the darkness. Megan saw two tawny guards trapped under a tent pole. She rushed over, using a strong stick as a lever. With Jack's help, she freed the guards and helped them to safety. Nearby, a group of Volari were stuck in the mud when two humans joined them, pulling them out one by one. The rain made everything slippery, but the humans did not stop. Every time someone needed help, they were there. The worst trouble was near the edge of the camp. A Vorkari diplomat, an important alien leader, was trapped under a fallen tree branch. Many aliens were afraid to go close, worried about more branches falling. Jack saw the problem and called Megan over. Together with a Brask, they pushed and pulled at the branch. At last, they managed to free the Vorkari, who thanked them in a shaking voice. All through the storm, the humans kept moving. They checked every tent, called out for anyone who was lost, and used simple tools to fix what they could. Megan used her knowledge to make sure no one touched dangerous plants or got too close to weak trees. She found a safe path through the mud and led a group of aliens back to the main camp. Jack gave out extra blankets and made sure the small children were safe and warm. When the storm finally ended, the camp looked broken. Some shelters were destroyed and there was water everywhere. Many aliens sat quietly, shivering from cold and fear, but soon they started to notice what the humans had done. They saw that many lives were saved because Jack, Megan, and their team were brave and quick. Word spread fast. By morning, everyone in the camp was talking about the humans. The Vorkar diplomat told his friends about the rescue. The Tawny guards said Megan was the reason they were still alive. Even the Brask, who liked to brag about their strength, admitted that the humans were different from what they first thought. Some alien leaders visited Jack and Megan to thank them. They asked how the humans stayed so calm during danger. Jack smiled and said that Earth was full of surprises. He told them stories about hurricanes, earthquakes, and wildfires back on his planet. He said humans learned to help each other work together and never give up, no matter how hard things got. Megan explained that sometimes fear could be a good thing. It helped people stay alert and careful. But she also said that when people worked together, they could do much more than if they acted alone. The aliens listened closely. Some even asked if the humans could teach them how to work in teams and survive with simple tools. That afternoon, the camp worked together to repair the damage. Humans and aliens shared ideas and helped each other build new shelters. Megan showed a group how to make strong roofs with leaves and branches. Jack organized a team to dig new ditches so the next rain would not flood the camp. The human way of solving problems started to spread. Aliens who once trusted only technology began to use their hands and learn from the land. Some Tawny learned how to tie knots, while a group of Volari helped move big rocks. The camp felt different now. There was less fear and more hope. That night, there was a special dinner to thank the humans. The Vorkari made a speech about courage and teamwork. The Brask leader shared a rare treat from his home planet. The Tawny offered a gift to Megan, a small stone carved with their symbol. Jack said thank you and reminded everyone that survival was not just about strength or technology. It was about learning, sharing, and working as one. In their tent, Jack and Megan talked about the day. Megan wrote new notes in her book while Jack planned for the days ahead. They knew there could be more trouble soon, but they felt stronger now. They were not just guests at the Deathworld summit. They had become important to the whole camp. Outside, the night was quiet again. Stars peeked out from behind the clouds, and a soft breeze moved through the trees. Aliens and humans slept with a new feeling of trust. They had faced a storm together, and they were ready for whatever Zaros would bring next. The day after the big storm, the camp was busy with repairs. Humans and aliens worked together, clearing broken branches and fixing tents. Even the leaders who once doubted the humans now listened to Jack's ideas and watched how Megan used simple tools to solve problems. For the first time, there was a sense of friendship growing across the camp, but not everyone was happy. Far from the center of camp, a small group of aliens whispered together. They did not like how much respect the humans were getting. These aliens belonged to a powerful group called the Darash. Their leader, Kren, believed his people should be in control of the summit. Kren was angry that aliens were now following humans instead of his orders. Late in the afternoon, while most were busy, Kren and his helpers snuck to the main camp power unit. They had a plan to cause trouble and blame it on the humans. Kren pulled out a tool and started tampering with the wires and energy cells. He made sure no one was watching. When he finished, he left a human glove near the power unit to make it look like a human was responsible. Not long after, the camp lights began to flicker. Machines started to fail, and the shield around the camp grew weak. Some aliens shouted in surprise, while others looked for help. Then a loud warning sounded. The camp's security system had detected dangerous fog moving quickly from the forest. The fog was full of poison, deadly for anyone who breathed it. Panic spread fast. Some aliens ran for their ships, but the ships could not fly without power. Others tried to hide in their tents, but the shields were not working. Jack saw the trouble and called his team together. Megan grabbed her emergency kit and ran to help. Jack told everyone to stay calm. He asked all the alien teams to come to the center of camp where the fog was still far away. Some leaders did not want to listen, but Jack spoke in a clear, steady voice. He promised the humans would help everyone. Slowly, the aliens trusted him and moved to the center. Megan worked quickly, using her knowledge of plants to find materials for masks. She showed everyone how to cover their faces with leaves and wet cloths, which could block some of the poison in the air. Other humans helped lead small groups of aliens away from the fog. The Brask carried the smaller Tanny on their backs. Valari flew above, guiding those who got lost, while Megan and the others worked to protect the camp. Jack realized the power unit had been damaged on purpose. He saw the human glove and knew it was a trick. Jack checked the area and found strange tool marks that did not match any human gear. He shared this with a Valari guard who believed him and helped search for clues. Kren, the Darash leader, tried to blame the humans. He shouted that the humans wanted to take over the summit. Some aliens started to believe him, but others remembered how the humans had saved them before. Megan told everyone to stay focused on the danger. She reminded them that arguing would only waste time. The poisonous fog crept closer. Megan found a way to keep it out by building small fires around the group. The smoke helped block the fog for a little while. Jack and the Valari guard followed tracks from the power unit to a hidden spot where they found Kren and his helpers. Jack asked why they would do something so dangerous. Kren just sneered and said the summit should belong to the strongest. Jack did not get angry. He told Kren that real strength was not about hurting others. It was about protecting everyone, even those who were different. The Valari guard agreed and called for the leaders. Soon, Kren and his group were brought before the Summit Council. With the true saboteurs found, the leaders began to trust Jack and the humans again. The camp worked fast to fix the power unit. Tani used their small hands to reconnect wires. Megan found safe leaves to use as new filters for the camp's air machines. Together, they brought the shields back up just before the worst of the fog reached the camp inside the shield. The air was safe. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Some were angry at Kren, but Jack asked for understanding. He said fear could make anyone do foolish things. Megan added that they must always look for peaceful solutions, even in the middle of danger. After the trouble, the summit leaders called everyone together. They thanked the humans for their quick thinking and kindness. The Vorkari commander said he was proud to work beside humans. The Brask leader promised to support Megan's idea for sharing survival skills. Itani offered to help humans in the future. That night, the camp was quiet again. Aliens sat around the fires and talked about what had happened. Many realized they would not have survived without the humans' help. The Valeri Guard told stories of how Jack found the real saboteurs. Megan taught a group of young aliens how to make safe masks from leaves. Jack walked around the camp checking that everyone was all right. He saw old enemies sitting together sharing food and stories. The summit was changing, and so were the people in it. Megan smiled as she watched Itani and Brask working side by side, laughing together. It was something she'd never expected to see. As the stars came out, Jack and Megan sat together near their tent. They talked about how close the camp had come to disaster. Megan said she was proud of how everyone worked together. Jack nodded and said the hardest part of survival was learning to trust others. He hoped the summit would remember this lesson. The trouble caused by Kren and his helpers could have ended the summit. Instead, it brought everyone closer. Now, with the shields fixed and the danger gone, the camp felt stronger than before. Deathworld Summit was no longer just a test of strength. It was becoming a place where all could learn from each other and build a better future together. The morning after the fog attack, the camp was very quiet. Everyone was still thinking about what had happened. Some were angry about the danger, while others were thankful to be alive. The sky was clear for the first time in days, and the sun made the wet ground shine. Felt like a new beginning. Jack walked through the camp with Megan. They checked on the teams, making sure everyone was feeling better. Otani were helping the Volari fix their damaged tents. The Brask shared extra food with anyone who needed it. The old groups and rivalries seemed less important now. More aliens smiled at Jack and Megan as they passed. A meeting was called by the Summit Council. The leaders gathered in the center of camp under a large piece of cloth tied to 4 trees. They wanted to talk about what should happen next. Darush were not allowed to speak for now. The Vorkari commander stood up first. He said the summit could not go back to how it was before. Too many things had changed. He asked if anyone had new ideas for working together. Jack raised his hand. He spoke softly, but everyone listened. He told the council that, on Earth, people survived not because they were the strongest or had the best machines. They survived because they worked together and learned from each other. He said the summit should not just be a contest about who had the most dangerous world or the best technology. It should be a chance to learn, to share, and to help each other face the dangers of their home planets. Megan added her own thoughts. She talked about the wild animals and deadly plants she had studied. She said that every world had secrets, and sometimes even the smallest trick could save a life. She suggested that every group teach one skill to the others. That way, when trouble came, everyone would know how to help. At first, some leaders were not sure. The Brask leader said his people were strong and did not need help. The Volari said their wings could carry them away from danger. But then, some younger aliens spoke up. They remembered how humans had helped them during the attacks. They liked the idea of learning new things and sharing stories. Slowly, more leaders began to agree. The Vorkari commander said he wanted to join the humans in building better defenses. The Tani offered to teach everyone how to find safe food in the wild. The Volari promised to show others how to move quickly when danger was near. Even the Brask leader smiled and said he would teach people how to build strong shelters. Soon the camp was full of activity again. Groups formed around the camp, each one teaching a new skill. Jack showed how to build simple alarms using rocks and string. Megan taught aliens how to look for signs of danger in the plants in the sky. The Tani led a group into the forest, pointing out which berries were safe to eat. The Brask explained how to lift heavy things without getting hurt. The Volari showed the smallest aliens how to climb trees and find good hiding spots. For the first time, there was laughter in the camp. Old enemies started to become friends. Aliens traded stories about storms, wild animals, and great escapes. The camp felt more alive and hopeful than ever before. Jack saw that the humans were not the only ones with good ideas. He learned a lot from watching the other teams. He was impressed by the Tanny's careful eyes and the Brask's strong hands. Megan was excited to write down all the new skills in her notebook. She promised to share them with humans back on Earth. In the evening, the council met again. This time, everyone was invited. The leaders thanked the humans for their ideas. The Vorkari commander said that, thanks to Jack and Megan, the summit was not just about survival anymore. It was about hope for the future. A young Tani asked if the humans would come back next year. Jack smiled and said he would be happy to return, as long as everyone was ready to keep learning and helping each other. The council voted to make the new skill-sharing plan a rule for all future summits. After the meeting, Jack and Megan walked along the edge of camp. The air was cool and fresh, and the stars were bright above them. Jack said he was proud of how everyone had changed. Megan agreed, saying she had never seen so many different people work together before. She hoped this was only the beginning. That night, there was a celebration. Aliens cooked food from their home planets and invited the humans to try it. The Volari played music that sounded like wind in the trees. The Brask showed a funny dance. And soon, everyone joined in. The camp glowed with lights and laughter. Late in the evening, the Vorkari commander spoke again. He said that, before the summit, he thought humans were weak and soft. Now he knew that their true strength was not in their bodies, but in their hearts and minds. He thanked Jack and Megan for teaching everyone what it meant to be truly strong. Megan thanked the aliens for sharing their own skills. She said she was grateful to be part of such an important event. Jack told everyone that, together, they could face anything the universe could throw at them. The crowd cheered and clapped. As the stars moved across the sky, the camp slowly went to sleep. Jack and Megan sat by their tent, talking quietly about the day. They knew the summit was almost over, but they felt happy. They had come to Zaros as strangers, but now they felt like part of a big, strange family. Tomorrow, they would make the final plans. The future looked bright, and everyone was ready to work together for a better galaxy. On the last day of the Deathworld summit, the camp woke up to a new feeling. The sun was shining, and the birds in the wild trees sang louder than ever before. Even the dangerous animals that lived nearby seemed to keep away as if they could sense that something special was happening. The camp was clean and calm. There were no more shouts or fights, only quiet voices and gentle laughter as everyone prepared for the last meeting. Jack and Megan stood together, watching as the alien teams packed up their things. The Tani carefully folded their tents, while the Volari checked their wings for the trip home. The Brask carried heavy bags for the smaller aliens. Even the Vorkari, who once stayed away from others, now helped take down the large screen in the walled center of the camp. People were sharing food and helping each other without being asked. Jack smiled, happy to see so many different groups working together like friends. The Summit Council called everyone together for the final meeting. They met in the same place where the first arguments had happened, but now the space felt warm and safe. The leaders stood in a big circle so that everyone could see and hear each other. The Vorkari commander began the meeting. He thanked everyone for coming, and he said that this summit was different from any in the past. He was glad that the groups had learned to trust one another. He also thanked the humans for their ideas and kindness. Next, the Tani leader stood up. She said her people had always been careful and afraid of outsiders. Now she felt less afraid. She told the group that learning from others had made her stronger. The Brask leader followed, admitted he was wrong to think his strength was the only thing that mattered. Now he knew that true power came from sharing and caring for others. The Volari leader added that flying was not enough to escape every danger. Sometimes it was better to land and stand together with friends. When it was Jack's turn to speak, he looked at all the faces around him. He spoke simply. I said the summit was not just about surviving on hard worlds. It was about making life better for everyone. He thanked every group for sharing their ideas and helping to save the camp from danger. Megan spoke after him. She said that no matter how different their worlds were, everyone could learn something new. She promised to take the lessons she had learned back to Earth and to keep sharing them with others. Then came the most important part of the meeting. The council voted on a new plan. From now on, every Deathworld summit would focus on teamwork, sharing skills and helping each other. When trouble happened on any planet, the summit members would work together, with humans invited to help lead the way. Everyone in the camp voted yes. There was cheering and clapping as the decision was made. After the meeting, teams worked together to build a new sign at the edge of the camp. It showed all the different species, shaking hands, or wings, or claws. The sign said, "Together, we survive." The sign would stay on Zaros for the next summit, as a reminder to everyone who visited. During lunch, aliens and humans sat side by side, eating and talking. The Tani told funny stories about their travels. The Valari sang a goodbye song. The Brask challenged Jack and Megan to a friendly arm wrestling contest. Laughter filled the camp. Nobody felt like a stranger anymore. In the afternoon, ships began to take off. Tani ship rose first, waving from their windows. The Valari flew out in a big group, making patterns in the sky. The Brask left in their strong metal ship, and the Vorkari commander gave Jack a medal from his world as a thank you. One by one, the team said goodbye, but they promised to meet again next year. When most of the aliens had left, the camp grew quiet. Only the humans and a few helpers stayed behind to clean up. Megan found a small flower she had never seen before and carefully put it in her bag. Jack walked to the edge of the forest and took one last look at the wild world around him. He felt proud of what his team had done. They came to Zaros as outsiders, but now they were part of something much bigger. As the sun began to set, Jack and Megan sat by their ship. They talked about everything that had happened. Megan said she would always remember the look on the Tani leader's face when the camp worked together. Jack said the best part was seeing enemies become friends. Knew that the summit had changed more than just the camp. It had changed people's hearts. Before leaving, Jack and Megan walked one last time through the empty camp. Megan put her hand on the new sign and smiled. She was excited to share what she learned with her friends on Earth. Jack promised to tell the story of Zaros to everyone he met. They both knew that life on Earth would be a little different now, because of what they had seen and done. The humans climbed into their ship and closed the door. As they lifted off, they watched the sun set over the wild forests and bright rivers. The planet Zaros was still a death world, full of danger and challenge. But now, it was also a place of hope. The Deathworld Summit had started as a test of strength. It ended with a lesson that would last forever. No one had to face danger alone. Together, they could survive anything. As the ship left the planet and moved into the stars, Jack and Megan looked forward to the next summit. They knew there would always be new dangers and hard times ahead, but with friends across the galaxy. They were ready for anything. The story of humans at the Deathworld Summit would be told on many worlds for years to come. It's a lesson about courage, kindness, and the power of working together.